You want to actually gather around then, so we can all, as in, chuck the fucking thing round here.
Oh, it's gonna get snug here. Oh.
Very snug. That end this way. There you go.
Like that.
Yeah, half of it's gonna be picking it up off the microphones.
Is that? Are we close enough yet?
Honestly, don't know.
Are we closer than close?
Super close.
Alright.
Closer than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome to Game Sandwich. My name's Dwight Pritchett.
Simon.
Sam.
This is actually the first of hopefully many podcasts. Intro music, by the way, which has been very kindly taken from the Blake Robinson Synthetic Orchestra website. Synthetic Orchestra.
Synthetic Orchestra.
Yeah, some excellent bits.
You sounded so excited by that, Dwight. The joys coursing through your body as you contemplate his orchestral movements.
This is
movements.
Yeah. But seriously, go to the website, check it out, syntheticorchestra.com. The tracks are pretty cheap, and he has got information on there on if you are making something, how to use his music. Be sure to send him an email, double check with him. He kindly replied to me. It's like, yeah, glad you like the music.
So what are we talking about that's not the Synthetic Orchestra?
Well, on the way over, Dwight and I just started talking about what got us into gaming and playing games and stuff. You know, what we started with when we were younger, and we just thought maybe that might be a good way of introducing ourselves to the universe.
The minute they don't really know us.
Yeah.
They probably won't want to after they've heard this, but you know.
Go on. First game you owned.
First game I owned that I bought myself or I played on.
Well, that you owned. I don't care if you bought it or got given it.
Well, it'd be a Christmas present. I mean, come on, just.
The first game I played, the first game I played was the Red Baron on the PC. It's like 1994 or something.
Classic.
First game I actually owned that was bought for me was on the Sega Mega Drive. And I think that might have been Sonic 2 or Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Right, so before I go completely retro on you school children.
On us noobs.
Yeah, on you school children. Come on, Sam. What floated your boat when you were a kid?
First game I played, either Doom or Worms. The first Worms. I can't remember what it was.
That explains why he's so annoying at playing Worms, to be fair.
That was your first actual fucking game. What year was this?
I don't remember.
How old were you?
But Worms first came out on the Amiga. It was a Team 17 game.
Yeah.
So it's as old as they come.
I didn't realise it was a Team 17 game until a couple of years ago when I was playing it at yours.
Yeah, I mean they're still going. So
are they?
Yeah.
Did you keep reading?
What have they done lately?
Apart from re-releasing Worms.
It was, yeah.
Do they actually make anything new that isn't Worms?
Well, they could probably outsource all of their programming requirements to Malaysia or India or something like that, and get it just released on multiple platforms. That's what software companies do these days.
Super Frog.
But I had Alien Breed on my Amiga, and that game is awesome.
Alien Breed 3?
See, when I was young, when I was a nipper, knee-high to a grasshopper, it was Nintendo Game & Watch. Even before the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo, it was LCD screen game systems. And I had Donkey Kong, and it was in 2 screens, and when you went past 999, it went back round to 0. Jump the barrels, swing across, and take one of these things off, and you do that a number of times, and Donkey Kong's dead. You start all over again, but it'd be a bit quicker, and quicker, and quicker, and quicker.
See, because the first game that I owned was on the Sega Mega Drive, which was Toe Jam and Earl. It was bought for me. It was a gift from Christmas, which we didn't find back. They didn't find the Mega Drive down the back of the sofa till after about a week after Christmas. I think they'd forgotten about it or something. But the first console I'm playing on, the first game I played on was on the PC. Was Red Baron. The first console I played on was Commodore 64, and that had Ghostbusters, which I wasn't that much into, Train Robbers. You started off on a horse and you had to get onto the train and then duck through the tunnels.
That sounds bitchin'.
It was awesome. And the other one, which was... Oh, it's going to irritate the crap out of me now. What was that? I'm sure I'll come back to that one, but the first actual console was the Commodore 64.
First game I owned, the original Command and Conquer on the PC.
Excellent choice. I remember playing that at university, non-stop. No, see, when I was young, my parents didn't have a lot of money, so other than the Game and Watch stuff, I had two, which was Donkey Kong and Mario Cement Factory. Didn't really have access to anything like that.
Factory.
Oh, it's a great game. Didn't have any access to anything until I was about 15 when I got...
Cement Factory. Poo joke.
Until I was 15 and got a Mega Drive, and then it was Altered Beast and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, Altered Beast.
Nope. Never played it.
Really?
Never heard of it.
I even played that in the arcade. I was saying to Dwight before the podcast that up until getting a Mega Drive, a lot of my gaming experiences was saving up scant amounts of pocket money and going to the local arcade and then playing like Time Killers, various Street Fighter games, Marvel vs. Capcom, that kind of thing. Going on the Neo Geo, that stuff.
I grew up at the seaside, so I was all about the arcades.
Yeah, totally.
I only ever stepped foot in an arcade on holiday, which is probably like once a year to Skegness.
Yeah.
Getting addicted to the 2p machines.
It's all about the light gun games.
Oh, Point Blank.
Point fucking blank.
I got so fucking... Every time I went on one, the gun was off, so I'm looking right down the sights, and the fucking... When it fires, it shoots off in the top right-hand corner.
You had to learn to adjust for it in the early levels. So when you got to that level with the falling leaf, and you had one shot, and you're there, and you're like... Pow! And you're like, yes, like a shooting boss.
Or that one with the 3 bouncy balls that you have one bullet, so you have to wait for them to line up and hit all 3.
Yeah.
No.
Also,
You couldn't learn that technique in 2 days, at 2-hour intervals per day.
Well, not if you're shit.
So, I mean...
House of the Dead as well. House of the goddamn Dead.
But you see, I had an Amiga 500 plus, then a 1200, so I was playing stuff like Populous, SimCity. Speedball 2 is an excellent game on the Amiga if you've ever played it. If you haven't, you should.
No,
I have.
I've heard of a couple of games from the Amiga.
Alien Breed, one we just mentioned just now. But there was a company from New Zealand, I think they're from New Zealand, called Blitz. And they did this racing game that was a single screen, which was awesome. But I also remember playing this pinball game. It was like Dream Pinball Dreams, that's what it was called, Pinball Dreams. That was brilliant.
Which is just a quick interruption. I found the other day that I went back onto my Humble Bundle purchase a little while ago to see if I had any more keys and I wanted to get the soundtracks. I've got a larger hard drive. And realised I didn't put the key in for Populous. And I actually have Populous right here.
Yes, Populous.
Which plays at half a frame a second.
That's because you got a rubbish computer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So the other thing we were talking about is like all the different Mega Drive games and stuff we played, and then just the music that we used to... Obviously, I got into listening to music. You're right there, hungover, Sam.
I am okay. I just had some of Dwight's Coca-Cola, and now I'm burping lots.
Product placement.
Fizzy as shit.
No, I'm not going to have any crisps.
So-
I'm recording shit.
Yeah, because there's when I was like 16, 17, it was hot summers, and I was playing computer games, but I'd be putting I had a cassette player, because parents couldn't really afford anything else, and listening to Hendrix playing Populous and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Which I said earlier, I have never played a different soundtrack to a game other than the one that's on the game. So I've never muted the music down and put a track on until the Xbox 360 when it was an actual feature that I could play music in the background.
But seriously, it's like you play certain games like Dawn of War or Total Annihilation, stuff like that, and you put some ambient music on, you're going to get ass handed to you every single time. You want something that makes you quick, angry, I'm going to destroy you destroy the
Drugs.
opponent, all the other stuff. Yeah, completely.
Lots of drugs.
Well, caffeine
Yeah.
for me. But I mean, I remember playing SimCity 2000 for like 8 hours non-stop, listening to Fear Factory, and I ended up with the best city ever. I stopped playing at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd had an absolute ton of Diet Pepsi, and just listening to Demanufacture on loop, and yeah. Great. So, I mean, I got a PC. I didn't get a PC till I went to university, and I was playing stuff like X-Wing. But that was really because I played a lot of Wing Commander on the Amiga, and I wanted to play something similar on the PC.
And I can only remember Wing Commander for the god awful film that it spawned.
Yeah. But the
That
original
film was
game,
shocking.
the original game was excellent. I mean, on the Amiga it was only bitmap sprites and stuff like that, but just the theme and flying around and stuff, it was just fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get onto a console we've all played, or hopefully we've all played, the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
So we've got some common starting ground.
Some Streets of Rage up in there.
You say that, but for me, it's got to be
Streets of Rage.
it's got to be NHL hockey.
Oh, Streets of Rage.
Or
Hit
John-
some bitches with that metal pipe. I was never allowed the baseball bat. Me and my friend played it, and he always dibs the baseball bat whenever it came up. So I always had the metal pipe.
I love playing John Madden's American football.
The
I was saying to Dwight, I don't like the more modern ones where it's got too much 3D because
I like the
I don't know. It just doesn't have the same feel for me.
I like the strategizing system, the playbooks outside of it, but some top 100 retro sanctuary games.
Oh, so
if
you've
you
got
actually
R-Type.
remember,
Is that R-Type there on that?
No.
At the top?
Zero Wing.
Yeah, that's R-Type. That's its alternate name, if I remember rightly. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
I haven't got my glasses on,
I
so...
remember playing R-Type. R-Type was difficult.
No, that is a different game, yeah. There you go, Madden 95, that's what I'm talking about.
I think I might have had Madden 94. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if 94 or 95.
See,
It
on
looks similar.
the list we're looking at, there's a bunch of other things like the PC Engine and the Neo Geo. Now, there was a shop in the city where I live, Nottingham, that was run by these guys that would import stuff from Hong Kong, because they had family back there or something. And so, they had the PC Engine, the Neo Geo, Super Nintendo when it first came out and stuff like that. And you could buy all of these. But you could pay them 50p and play those games like it was an arcade. So all these magazines talking about all the PC Engine stuff and the Neo Geo stuff and that kind of thing. I mean, my family could never afford anything like that. So we'd go down there and every now and again, you could just stand there and watch someone else play it. But, you venture 50p to play Super Mario on the Super Nintendo when it first came out and stuff like that. It was living vicariously, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the other things, I had a Dreamcast and stuff, and obviously the Game Boy, but the Atari systems, I never had an Atari Lynx or the Jaguar. Remember the Jaguar?
I do not. Go back up the list a second. Just down again.
Pick a number. There's numbers at the side. You can see it.
Cool spot.
No.
I remember that. No, I remember that. I never played it, but I remember when it came out.
97 on the list of the top 100 Sega Mega Drive games.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. See, I was all about handhelds because it didn't mean... We only had one TV, and so it didn't mean kicking my dad off the TV because that's what he liked to watch. So I had the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and then a bunch of others all the way up to the DSXL.
eSWAT. That looks like...
Yeah,
That looks like Metroid.
Yeah, that was a good game.
No, don't think I've ever played that one. Yeah, full on Toe Jam and Earl. Who else was there? Yeah, Sonic 2, James Pond, Tasmanian Devil. The Taz carts. And you play basketball as the Looney Tunes characters in little cars. You drive around a basketball court.
I didn't.
No?
That sounds terrible. You sound like a terrible person for liking it.
It was fun.
So, one of the games we were talking about on the way over was Smash TV.
Fucking Smash TV.
And There we go, in NHL 94.
Yeah. Throw your gloves down, give a whooping. That was what it was all about.
Yeah.
Smash TV can fuck right off.
Smash TV was awesome. Big money, big prizes. I love it.
Oh,
And me and a mate spent an entire weekend playing that non-stop just so that we could have a claim to fame of beating it.
was that when you were a kid, or was this a couple of years ago when you and Gil did that?
Oh no, Gil and I doing that was a retro experience. I actually did that in my teens. And I told him about it and he got all hyped up and then we spent ages doing it.
Yeah, I remember because you're doing it around my house. And it took you ages.
I have noticed that, I mean, what are you on now? Number 68.
68.
See, I had Castle of Illusion on the Mega Drive. That was a hell of a good game. But they haven't got Super Bomberman on there, which, in my opinion...
No, you're down at 66, so it's...
In my opinion, is probably one of the finest multiplayer games ever made.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Mega Mania.
Fucking Toy Jamano!
No,
62? Piss off!
Seriously, Megalomania was an epic game.
Megalomania.
Oh, yes.
63.
That was on the Amiga when I played it. You see, it says fun real-time strategies for the Mega Drive, but it was first out on the Amiga. So, yeah.
If you're on about that one you were on about earlier, it was originally out on the SNES. But yeah, Toy Jamano, level 23 I think was the highest I got. Never got past it because this fucking mad doctor would turn up and throw tomatoes at you from a distance and knock you off. And yeah, every time you die, you didn't die, you fall off the edge and then you fall down to the level below.
So there was
it was such a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
Pain in the arse.
So there was some crazy games for the Amiga. I mean, obviously I just mentioned Megalomania there, but there was one called, I think it was called Putty or Silly Putty. Oh, there's Bomberman.
60.
Again, how is that only 60?
Retrosanctuary.com. Retrosanctuary.com.
Yeah, retrowrong.com. No, but there was this putty game where you played this inflated ball of blue tack. And you go around and you could make a fist out of your body and punch things off the platforms and stuff like that. And there was Zool, which I never really got on with. You're like this ninja ant sliding around the screen and stuff. But there was quite a lot of indie games, and you know that you can make your own indie floppy disks and stuff. Oh, it was fantastic.
Mega Bomberman. The Bomberman series is most popular and addictive multiplayer games out there. Iteration is actually a downgraded port of TG16's Bomberman 94, which I have no idea what the hell that is.
The best version of Bomberman, in my opinion, is Super Bomberman 2 on the Super Nintendo with the multi-tap. It's the one where you can, if I remember rightly, and it could be wrong, but this is the one where you can throw stuff. Because you can kick a bomb towards someone and they run away to the other end of the screen. You pick a bomb up, turn around and throw it, and so they end up getting a bomb from both sides and dying. And the number of times Gil has done that to me, and I've just been so cross. I've just wanted to
just give him a slap.
Yeah, seriously. And that's, for me, that's what games are about. You've got to get into them so much and do crap like that.
The awesome side scroller that is Toe Jam and O, Panic on Funkatron, which it hasn't got the title, it just says Toe Jam and O. No, it's a completely different game.
I like the fact that you could get imports on the Mega Drive. Like, I remember playing this game called Super Gynook. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but it's one of these 1942 style vertical shoot 'em ups, scrolling shoot 'em ups, but you're on a Pegasus or something like that, and you know, just all these different weird creatures and stuff coming at you. It was really, really cool.
That looks good. Comic Zone. I don't think I've ever played
Lost Vikings. I remember that coming out.
I had about 12, 13 games, and that was it. I never got any more on top of that. I never got any less. I'd borrow a couple every now and then. Like, is it Streets of Rage, the one where you're on a bike?
Road Rash.
Road Rash, that's the one. That was fucking ace. And I
Road Rash was.
tried to find that again, but
I asked Dwight this earlier. Did you ever play Desert Strike by EA?
Yes.
I loved that.
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
So Dwight's severely missing in some education there.
yeah. As I said, 13 games, constantly I had those games, and I'd flick between the two, which one I felt like it. And then I'd go outside and play a little. Micro Machines 96.
See, so my girlfriend loves Micro Machines.
How?
And she'd be going ape for that right now.
Seriously, what?
Was great, that's why.
Why is this 45 and Toe Jam and Ollie is 60 something? It's
Just
just
Flink or
no Micro Machines.
I don't know. See, Micro Machines, you had to kind of level up in your skill almost straight away because those things were so quick. You had to be willing to just screw up. See, there's Populous, but Populous 2 is so fantastic compared to that.
Yeah.
When I loaded it up, I was getting that at half a frame a second.
Yeah, Populous 2 is loads better. It's quite quick as well. It might be worth trying it out.
It's peculiar because it's 1980s. So it's odd how it runs so slowly on such a modern machine.
See, GOG do patch stuff all the time, so it might be worth you re-downloading it.
Did you guys ever play the third Populous?
See, I don't think I played any of the popular series.
Lame.
I didn't think it was that bad. I don't think it got a lot of the hate it deserves.
I'm assuming Populous is like Civilization. Because Civilization was the first game of that type I ever played.
No. Civ was good. I don't know if it was Civ or Civ 2 on the Amiga. But I also had Railway Tycoon. Railway Tycoon on the Amiga was a brilliant game.
I think I had Civ 2 on a PS1 or Civ. I can't remember.
Like I said, I don't think Populous 3 deserves a lot of the hate it gets. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as terrible as everyone seems to make out.
I didn't think it was terrible. I just did not enjoy it as much as Populous 2. See, I only ever played Ghouls and Ghosts now and again, but Lemmings. I used to play Lemmings there.
I was just about to say, you just got to skip over Lemmings there. That was one of the 13 games.
One of the kids I knew at school, him and a friend that he had, insisted that the last Lemming was always called Lars. I've no idea why. It's the kind of thing you do when you're 14.
Okay.
Ghost? No, I never played Ghosts and Ghouls. Ghouls and
Really?
Ghosts. Even. Yep. I said 13 games. That was it. The only two different I borrowed was Sonic 3D and Road Rash. Those were the only ones that were different from the ones I already got.
A lot of these games I only really started playing when I was like 15, 16. And before then, it was going to a friend's house, like Mortal Kombat 2 and that kind of thing.
Mortal Kombat.
29 on the list. Again.
Well, you see, I would argue that Super Street Fighter should be there instead of Mortal Kombat 2.
Well, it should be up a lot further. Earthworm Jim.
I lied. There was a third game I managed to borrow off someone, and that was Earthworm Jim, which I later got on phone, which used to kill the battery like a bitch. And I swear I burnt my fingers on the back of the phone. It was running that hot from playing Earthworm Jim.
But was it worth it?
It was worth it. I think I paid £4 for it as well as a phone download, and it was the full Earthworm Jim game.
I don't think you've ever really truly played some games until you've played the things that inspired them, like Golden Axe, Sonic the Hedgehog, some of the early Nintendo stuff. Just because, I'm not going to go down that whole thing of the, people talking about gameplay over graphics and stuff like that, because you want the thing to look good, you want to get into it, you want to get a feel for it. But you look at Earthworm Jim and you compare that to, Rayman on PS3. And PS3, it's gorgeous and stuff like that. But it doesn't take anything away from Earthworm Jim being a fantastic game. And too many people don't realise that.
See, but when you're talking about origins, that sort of stuff, with Earthworm Jim, the origins of Earthworm Jim, was it a comic before?
No, because
I know there was something. It came from something.
Well, there was a cartoon series, but I don't know if the cartoon series came before the game or the other way around.
But that's it. I mean, there's things like that where I played Earthworm Jim the game and I loved it, but I never went back and saw what it came from or where it came from, where it spawned, what it was. I mean, I have trouble remembering. Who was it who made the game?
See, the franchise that I got completely into was the whole Command and Conquer Red Alert thing. Because I loved playing Doom 2. Yeah, I loved playing Doom 2 on the Amiga. I could never complete the last level, but I loved Doom 2. It was such a great game. And then to have Westwood produce Command and Conquer, then Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer 2, and all that stuff. It was, that was it. And I just played that and StarCraft.
Oh, StarCraft, that's a game I'm shit at.
Should be a little higher in the list. Number 23, Road Rash 2, which I didn't even know there was a sequel. We're definitely going to have some sort of flashback to some old...
I remember Mega Turrican, but never really played that. Go on,
21.
See, there's Sonic. Now, Sonic, for me, should be way higher. And Echo the Dolphin underneath.
Echo the Tides of Time. 19.
Should be a lot lower, in my opinion.
That's not even like...
Because I haven't seen James Pond yet, and if that beats Toe Jam and Earl, might have to reach through this website and throttle someone.
You see, the funny thing is, the list you're showing here is just Mega Drive, so we don't have any of the Nintendo stuff. You know, we don't have Mega Man or anything like that. You know,
That one looks fucked up.
Shinobi 3 Ninja Master.
Got that big fucking head thing.
it's a bit like
A
Big
big
Trouble in
giant
Little China.
prawn.
Big Trouble in Little China meets consoles.
Big Trouble in Little China.
So yeah, Dune 2.
Excellent film.
Didn't even know it was a game.
Yep. Fine game, sir.
Well,
on this list, I mean, we're looking at, what is it, Retro Sanctuary.
yeah,
See
this
what
is
they-
this is the top 100 Mega Drive games. There's a full list at the top of all the different consoles.
Can you bring up the Amiga? Because that's pretty
Oh,
much
come
where
on,
my
we've gotta
gaming
finish
starts.
this one.
I want to see what's number one. What they decide number one on the list is.
No, isn't this in reverse order?
No, it's gone downwards.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
thought this was in reverse. Oh, okay. All right.
No, that's why Bomberman reached higher than
Oh, that's my misunderstanding.
Toe Jam
yeah.
and Earl.
So what's so number one is Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
It did say Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Well, we'll look at number 10. Contra Hard Corps.
Yeah.
Nope, no idea.
Herzog
Herzog
Zwei. Yeah, I remember that.
narrowly beat out Doom 2 is the best strategy game on the system. Really? Okay. Thunder Force 4. Landstalker.
So here we go,
5,
Street Fighter 2.
Champion Edition. I don't know if that's important or not.
It is.
Not a big fighting game man myself.
Well, you've got to
No,
consider
you just
the
sit
Mega
there
Drive
and
only
get
had
angry.
Mega Drive only had 3 buttons, A, B, C. So it's not like the Super Nintendo was what, 6 buttons, because you had the shoulder ones,
Oh, yeah.
and then you had the 4 buttons, so that way you could have light, medium, heavy punch, light, medium, heavy kick, and you wouldn't be able to do that on the Mega Drive.
Also, if you're a cheating bastard, you have the turbo button.
Yeah.
Shaq's.
Oh,
That's
Shaq
We
Fu.
actually found the game Shaq Fu a little while ago from
And it
wherever
is
it was.
so bad. Where did I find it? I found it on the street. I honest to God found a copy of Shaq Fu on the floor in the street.
How long ago though? Because it's not like 1998 or something like that. It was
No, about a year ago.
2013. There was a copy of Shaq Fu.
As litter.
Just pull it, emptying out your wallet. It's like, I don't need this receipt. Shaq Fu. No. Alright, number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah.
Never played
Fair.
it.
Right, come on, bring up the Amiga, but go straight to number 1, because I want to see what it is. Because most of my friends had just with pirate games and stuff.
Oh my God.
No pictures.
Right. So go down to the bottom.
Amiga reviews.
Oh.
Amiga top 100 features.
It's just the top 100 features.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where am I looking? Am I looking?
They don't
No,
do it for the
they don't do
Amiga.
it- no.
Never mind.
But I'm going to chuck it up because I'm assuming you were going to talk about something.
Well, I remember playing the Alien Breed series, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. But there was a strategy game I played quite a lot with friends, which is the Battle Isle series, and it was a hex map thing, and which was quite cool. But most of the time, I just played strategy games on the Amiga, and then all of the shooters and the racing games on my friends' consoles. So, you know.
Favoritist console up until I'm going to say Xbox 360 and the PS3. Just to cut it off from the new gen consoles. Favourite consoles up until that point.
I'm probably going to say the PS2. It was just good. It was good.
It was a chunky piece of quality hardware.
Yeah.
It broke a couple of times.
Yeah, but they're not even that much.
See,
And
I'm
it
gonna
was
have to
usually
base.
pretty cheap to get fixed as well.
I'm going to have to base it on the amount of fun I had as a kid. And it's going to be a toss-up between my friends having a Super Nintendo.
A toss-up. Masturbation joke. Sorry. I'll shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, less of that now, please.
So anyway,
Can't
it'd
do
either have
that.
to be the Super Nintendo, simply for, it's the first time you got to see Super Mario World and Mario Kart and stuff like that. And there was just so many summers when I was off school, and I was having an absolute blast playing on those games. But I think, as much as I like the GameCube and some of the stuff that's on it, it has to be the N64, because Super Mario World 64, for me, was such a genre-breaking game as a platformer. It was this, you basically, you cross Tomb Raider with Mario and put all of Nintendo's creativity, musical expertise, testing and everything else into this completely immersive environment, and you do it on a cartridge, none of this CD loading or anything else. And it was just, for its time, it's just a game that it just sucked you in, and the Nintendo 64 as a platform, yeah, great.
I'll half agree with you here on the most fun I had as a kid, and that would be on the PS1.
Yeah.
Because straight after the Mega Drive, I would never owned a Nintendo console. No Nintendo products.
This is a non-Nintendo house.
Yeah. Next door neighbour had one of the first Game Boys, the big greeny black looking screen.
Yeah, I had
And I used to go around there and play Kirby on the when we go around and visit. But yeah, it would be the PS1. Solely because I'd sit down with my dad and my sister and we'd play through the Tomb Raider puzzles. And I'd sit there and get angry because I could solve it instantly, but it wasn't my turn.
I've seen you play Tomb Raider, and you can just do that.
It's fucking.
It's like your mutant power is solving Tomb Raider puzzles instantly.
See, that's the thing. If you were going to say handhelds, it would have to be the original Game Boy, not the Colour, not the Advance, not the DS or the XL or 3DS.
I'll tell you what.
The original Game Boy, where you could wire up and you had a little cable between you, and you and your friends would be sat next to each other.
The link cable.
Yeah.
Because, well, for consoles, for me it's the PS1, for Sam the PS2, for Simon it's the N64.
But for handhelds,
I've
got to be the original Game Boy. Followed, and I'm such a Nintendo freak that I have to be honest, it has to be the PSP. For handheld, the PSP, the handheld. Because when I went to Japan and I got it before it came out in the UK, and I got Ridge Racer and stuff like that, and I could watch movies on it and have high quality graphics, FMV.
That's
and
Sony though.
else.
That's not Nintendo. What's?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Despite being such a Nintendo fanboy.
Oh yeah, but I didn't hear the despite.
Yeah, despite being such a Nintendo fanboy, the PSP was just fantastic.
See, the only handheld, other than that original Game Boy I had to play on, was the Colour. And as I said, I played Pokemon Yellow to see what all the fuss was about. I played it for 2 weeks, got past some Zubats in a cave, and was like, nah, I'm not sold on this.
See, when I got
Did the Zubats ruin it for you?
No, I didn't even mind it. I was like, oh, Zubats.
Those bastards.
Apparently that's a big thing about Zubats, but I remember specifically a cave and some Zubats. And that was...
going the theme of getting stuff from Japan, the first time I went to Japan, I got the Game Boy Advance. And again, I got it way before it came out in the UK and everything else.
Because of your connections.
Well, I know guys who know guys. And yeah, I got I got a bunch of Japanese games, but obviously buying games in the UK and stuff like that. And I got the first version of Advance Wars. And
Advance Wars.
And having such a raging affection for strategy games, turn-based strategy games, all the way back to my Amiga days with Battle Isle and everything else and all this other stuff. And then there was this tile-based strategy game with Fog of War, all different units and everything else on a colour handheld. Just remember playing it like Sam's brother Kurt. He used to play it as well, and we ended up playing it on long road trips, going down south and things like that, and just playing it for hours on end, just playing swapping the Game Boy around ourselves, and all taking it in turns and stuff like that. So if you ignore consoles and just go for games, then from a multiplayer hanging out with your friends thing, I think it has to be joint first place between the original Advance Wars.
So as a non-online multiplayer game.
Yeah. The original Advance Wars, and you pass the console and stuff, and Bomberman.
Sam? Non-online best.
Yeah.
You're
going to say Tekken.
I am going to say Tekken. I'm going to say...
Which Tekken? Because I'm sure there's a clear divide between all of them.
I don't know. Tekken 1
Tekken 4
made it happen, but if you look at it now, it's shite.
Not like Virtua Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, made the series happen. But Tekken 2 was good in its day, and so was Tekken 3. I really like Tekken 4 because it sort of weirdly slowed it down and then made it proper 3D, slam people into walls and shit. That one was fun, but not many other people like that one.
For me, there's no Tekken before Christy Montero, because that's the only one where I can guarantee to annoy everybody in the room.
Fucking
Raven.
floor sweeping bitch.
The only proper Tekken I've played was Tekken from Tekken 4 onwards, and that was Raven. We used to punch at them, disappear, appear behind them, and then and hit them from behind. That was I just used to love that kind of. Oh, he's here, now he's not. That was the best character in the fighting game.
Tekken Tag 2, just because it's got some of the newer characters that I really like Dragunov with his weird hit you, then go into a grapple bullshit.
So some of the guys used to play beat 'em ups at the arcades. There was this guy who fancied himself as the Street Fighter, not Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter champion. And then...
I've never played the first one.
And he'd dance around on the arcade stick with all the buttons and stuff, literally elbowing you out of the way. And he had such a way of doing the combos with his hand. Instead of being his hand palm down on the control stick, he'd kind of slip it between his two sets of fingers and then kind of do all this flamboyant stuff. And he had a way of doing a combo that just made you want to slap him. Because he was so irritating.
I don't know, he sounds like a tool.
Yeah, he was, yeah. But it's like, he basically made you waste your hard-earned 20 pences. I just didn't like him. But from an arcade game perspective, aside from Marvel, I think it was called Marvel vs. Capcom, where you could play as Juggernaut and stuff.
Capcom.
Time Killers. Not the main version, because it doesn't have the same feel. The arcade version.
Never played it.
No.
So... imagine Street Fighter with the same kind of graphics and stuff, but where all of the fighters are from different periods of history. So you could have Miyamoto Musashi taking on an English knight, or a caveman taking on a guy with a laser sword, or you could have a post-apocalyptic punk with a chainsaw taking on a floating alien that can spit venom.
The face of remembrance.
I think I may actually have played this. Because you reminded me with the chainsaw character.
And you could cut people's arms off. And then, if the person whose arms were cut off, they had to kick you to death. And it came up with armless victory and stuff like that.
I totally did play that. I just forgotten what it was called.
But if you had a sword or a chainsaw, or whatever, you could, if you managed to pull off the special move just as the person was running towards you at the start of the game, you could instantly cut their head off, and the energy bar would go straight down to 0. And I remember playing it with my mate, and he did it to me, and he just laughing at me so hard that I beat him the next round, because he went hop, and I was dead, and that was it. So, yeah.
Well, you want a bit of this? Right.
Delicious black fizzy goodness.
Well, I think that will do it for part 1. And we are going to continue talking, so listening for part 2. We're going to talk about a few more modern games, a bit more how we met. That might be an interesting talk.
Also, I think perhaps what we're into at the moment. You know, kind of games.
What genres, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, what games we're looking forward to playing as well.
Which, I want to bring up a note. I'm going to do a thing called The List. which will be up on the
Yes.
website, and it'll just be full of games. And you can possibly vote for a game you're interested in watching us play or something like that.
That sounds like a good idea.
And
Yeah.
we can just add to it of ideas and stuff we want.
We're talking about
Yeah.
doing speed reviews on indie games as well,
Yeah.
because a lot of the games
Sounds
that people,
good to me.
well, a lot of the games people play at the moment, you know, if you want to play Call of Duty or whatever, that's absolutely fine. But you've got all these small companies, you know, investing a lot of time and personal effort and stuff. You know, guys, you know, just a bunch of guys who've rented a small unit somewhere, really trying to break into the industry.
Ow.
Enjoying his motivational speech.
And and you know, doing like hot seating, having a go at those games, trying to push them a bit, you know,
That's a big.
see what we can do. Yeah, definitely.
But first, let's go get some omelette.
Okay. Omelette break. Yeah, remember to check out syntheticorchestra.com. Seriously. It is good. It is very, very good.
That's where our bleepy intro comes from.
Yep.